Now that I'm moving into Topeka, starting in November 2013, I'm going to start theming some of what I vlog about the websites. Try to get some coordination between YouTube, the websites, etc. And I've got a book. Yes, I wrote this book. I'm going to start book of the month. I haven't moved a lot of the books over yet from out in the country to here, to Topeka. So I'm going to start with one of my own books. I promise you in December, the book will not be written by me. It will be from someone else. But I thought I would talk about the coming chastisement. We're looking at 107 pages. And it's actually an interesting project because I started it and actually wrote The Coming Chastisement in 1992. And that's the basis of the book. Here is my 1992 work. Now, when I address a question after having done something at one point and it's years later, I always like to go back and review. For instance, with this project here, when I did 54 years to change the Catholic Church, that was actually another project, and I'll talk about that some other day. But I want to talk about the coming chastisement because this is a very important point. And people we hear about prophecy, okay, private prophecy, scriptural prophecy, Antichrist, the great apostasy. But that's why I did this in 92, and then I brought it up to date when I published this. I believe I published this last year. Let's see if it gives me any clue. No, it does. Okay. This particular one was printed in November 3rd of 2012, this particular copy. It's on-demand printing. So this is what I did. Of course, introduction, current condition of the church and the world. Briefly. If you want more detail, you have to go to another book. Sacred Scripture in our times. Because there's a lot in Sacred Scripture that talks about these particular times. And things that you might not know about. I've tried to publish a lot of this stuff. It's on the website. I talk about some here on YouTube. Not a whole lot yet. I'll be talking more about it. It gets into my sermons because we preach on the Gospels, the Epistle, Sacred Scripture, the truths of the faith. And so it gets into there as well. I looked at the Satanic Bible. Okay? Because you got to see what is the enemy telling people to do. Because it's very influential on the world. It's why the world is going off course. I discuss how bad the chastisement will be. The first thing I discuss is all warnings will be ignored by this perverse generation. We are getting signs. Katrina, the tsunami, just to name two. And you can take a look at all these things that are happening and people just go right back to sinning. New Orleans had Mardi Gras before Ash Wednesday, the year after Katrina hit. And we know that Mardi Gras is another word for sin. I talk about the conspiracy briefly. A book could probably be written, in fact books have been written about the conspiracy against us. I'll say a little bit about it. Our enemy is the devil. He is the head conspirator. He and the fallen angels are the conspiracy. Men work with him. Okay, keep that in mind. The goal of the conspiracy is simple. Universal damnation. Very simple. So let's go on. Use of music by the system of Antichrist. Go in great depth on rock music. Okay? Then I discuss the Satan box. Now I've written a book more recently called The Satan Box on television. I talk about an ad that ran for a short time on ABC. Give us 8 hours a day. They'd slide it up. Yellow background, black print. Okay. Now go on briefly here. If you want more, go get the book, The Satan Box. Then we come to the coming events. The two witnesses, the destruction of Rome, the universal bankruptcy, the collapse is near. You say, well, hold it. You said that first in 1992. Well, I've been watching economics since the early 80s. And I'll discuss that in a separate vlog because I'd really get going on. But I do believe that the economic collapse is now getting close. I kept looking at it, and I'd open up my files and look at the conditions up until recently, and yeah, it could blow any moment. We are a very unstable economy. But until the last year or two, in looking at things, I said, I don't see anything that makes me think it has to come sooner rather than later. Okay? So, but I was warning about that in 92 and then again more recently. Then I discussed whether city life is desirable, which is kind of ironic considering I am moving from the country into the city. But I'm moving into the city for the salvation of souls. Okay? I'm finding I'm encountering a lot more souls here. And maybe just even a simple word will get someone to think and convert. Then I discussed the 3 days of darkness. And you're going to be hearing a lot more on that from me because the 3 days of darkness is coming. My guess, and this is just a guess, is before 2020 we will see the 3 days of darkness. Okay? This will come. I'm as certain that 3 days of darkness will come because it's based in sacred scripture. It's not just the private prophecy, if you've heard. It is in sacred scripture. In fact, I was reading something. Someone sent over a quote from Apocalypse on the Church of Philadelphia, and I read it and said, hold it. That quote deals with the 3 days of darkness. And I'm going to make a longer video on the 3 days of darkness. And I will be doing that. And that's extremely important. I devote about 25 pages. And then I talk about what we should be doing right here and right now. I close with something from Padre Pio. The 3 days of darkness, predictions by Padre Pio. The reason that's in the back of this book is we got that in about 1972-73, a Xerox copy of it. I have not seen anywhere else on the internet. I have seen other things from Padre Pio, but not the particular thing I have. Well, it's here, and I do believe I posted it also on the internet. When I went in 92 to write the original, I was trying to piece that together. I could remember pretty much what it said, but I couldn't find the file. Well, just a few years ago, I found the file and said, well, that's the file I was looking for. So I put that at the end because I was trying to rebuild from other sources the stuff Padre Pio hadn't. He had it pretty straight. So I strongly recommend The Coming Chastisement. Sometime during November, I'll put the Kindle edition up for free, if I'm able to. I can get 5 days of that. After this video goes up on the website and on YouTube, go look for the Kindle edition. It'll be free. The print edition, you got to pay the price because, let's face it, this costs money. Okay. I think you'll find that I have this book well priced and it's well worth reading. So I strongly recommend getting the book of the month. And as I promised, next week I won't be promoting my own book. God bless you.